What if I told you that I'm back after a 2-month hiatus, and by the end of this video, you're going to know if the New York Yankees can actually be trusted and who they need to move on from regardless of how the season ends. On this one, I've got to hear your feedback in the comments about if I missed the mark or not. Also, hitting that like and subscribe button does help support the channel. So let's just hop right into it. I promised you an answer to this question. Can the New York Yankees be trusted? Do they have a legitimate shot to win a World Series? And my answer is hell no. Those motherfuckers are guilty until proven innocent. Now, if you remember, early in the season, I came on this platform and said they were not the team that we have seen in the last decade plus, and that this younger talent, acquisitions of Juan Soto, and the ridiculous bullpen, improved starting rotation from last year was going to take them to the promised land. Fast forward to the end of the season, and they are coming off of one of the worst slumps that we have seen from them in recent memory. The last time that I checked, there's 9 people in the lineup. And this entire season, offensively, has been almost entirely predicated on the success of Juan Soto getting on base and Judge having perhaps the best season of his life.
High drive, right center, Garcia back, track, wall, see ya, home run for Judge.
Yes, I'm saying that he's having a better season after breaking the all-time home run record in the American League. That is how good of a season he's having. So the New York Yankees are going to have an answer for the other 7 slots in the lineup. I mean, we are in a position where we're talking about them 5 through 9 hitters, and sometimes 4 through 9 can't even get the ball out of the infield. That is not a recipe for success, and this is giving me very little belief that anything is going to change. Yes, there's some encouraging signs. They made some great moves at the deadline and obviously just swept the Philadelphia Phillies, who some people think are the best team perhaps in the entire league. But I'm not sold. One series over the last 60 days after getting their teeth kicked in by the New York Mets and really any other team who you wouldn't necessarily consider a contender, you have to walk away with legitimate concerns about what this team's long-term future is, but then also there's very little doubt that they're going to make the playoffs. They have set themselves up into a position where they have somewhat like a 98% chance to make it. Defense at times has been absolutely abysmal. It is hard to watch at some points. They look like a AA team, especially with the play of guys like Gleyber Torres, who we're going to get into shortly after. The Jazz Chisholm acquisition is obviously a major thing, but your starting rotation is coming off the last 2 months of having an ERA near 6. Sure, there's been some improvement. We're now at a 4.8 after July, and Jazz Chisholm ain't gonna do shit for that. I don't want to hear about injuries. I want consistency. Every team in this league deals with injuries. And for some reason, the New York Yankees always have a narrative and want to cop out saying, oh, we're not healthy. Well, what do I always say? You better fix the farm system, Cashman. And let's say in this hypothetical world where they make the playoffs and potentially win the pennant, there are legitimate questions about how Aaron Boone is going to handle the new phenomenon of people walking Aaron Judge.
Honestly, didn't feel like seeing him swing. That was kind of it, you know. We talk about being really careful with him. He's in a different category, I think, than anyone else in the league, to where he can just flip the script of a game with one swing. Obviously, he's done it twice in this series. So
I'm not one of those people who thinks that you can't do anything about that and that it's just out of our hands. If Aaron Judge is going to be a guaranteed on base in the playoffs, then move Juan Soto to the 3rd spot. I can guarantee that he's not going to be walked as easily, or it's not going to be taken as lightly as it is when you have Austin Wells coming up behind. If you're paying attention, you know that walking Judge is an effective strategy because the rest of the New York Yankees offense, it's more than bipolar. We have no idea what we're going to get from night to night. So it's obvious that if you neutralize Aaron Judge, that it's actually going to handicap the New York Yankees. We saw it in the Toronto series. a team that the Yankees should comfortably be hanging with, were able to crack the code on Aaron Judge.
And I think, like I said, that's what can lead to mistakes when you're really trying to be very fine.
And so Boone has got to, when they make that play, Boone has got to respond accordingly. And so these are all of the things that make me extremely anxious, extremely nervous about what the future holds for the New York Yankees. And so what is the second promise that I made to you? That we're going to hop into this next segment and talk about who the hell the New York Yankees need to move on from. There are some no-brainers, and there are some that I want to hear feedback from in the comments, telling me if I missed the mark, because there are dudes that I am just, quite frankly, done with. This list emphatically starts with Gleyber Torres kicking his ass out the freaking door. I have been so frustrated with him as a player for probably as long as he's been on the team, and for him to be so nonchalant and so uninterested is really a big turnoff to me.
That one's drilled deep to left field. That ball is off the wall. Played out there by Loperfido. And Torres will stop at first with a 1-2. Line drive. It is a base hit to left field. It's down the line and into the corner. Torres rounding third. They're waving him home. Here's the throw. Here's the play. He's out.
If you're not gonna bust your ass, if you're not gonna care, a contract here, what am I getting when I give you $150, $200 million? That's a legitimate question. I think there's also some obvious ones here. Anthony Rizzo thing has run its course. He's 35 years old. We're getting younger at the first base position, and there's conversation about Jazz playing full-time third base. And I think there's some other guys who really need to be in consideration for walking their ass out the door. And those two guys are DJ LeMahieu and Nestor Cortes. Now, before you hop on my back about these things, DJ LeMahieu is 36 years old. If you have been watching the Yankees, have seen a pretty legitimate decline from him over the last 2 to 3 seasons. This year, the dude's got absolutely no juice. There's a lack of athleticism, and if DJ's not going to give you anything more than defensive versatility, which we have quite a bit of now, right? Younger, cheaper, and quite frankly, a better fit with this roster. What DJ LeMahieu used to provide you, somewhat of a sure thing at the plate, right? We knew he was going to keep the line moving. You're not looking for a ton of power from DJ, but not only is he not showing the power, what used to be his incredible contact game, an incredible eye at the plate. So now I'm forced to question, what is his function in this line? I know the Nestor Cortes thing is going to get some people hot. He obviously didn't have the year that he had in previous seasons. However, I'm open to coming down on both Nestor and Marcus Stroman. We know that Marcus is an extremely inconsistent pitcher and not a long-term solution for the Yankees. I don't think that they should see Nestor Cortes as a long-term solution at the position. With guys like Rodon getting hot and showing you what an elite pitcher looks like, you're left to question the overall ceiling of Nestor Cortes and if he's already met that. New York Yankees, when you have the injuries that you have in the bullpen and sometimes in the starting rotation, you are going to need absolute studs. And Carlos Rodon and Luis Gil have shown themselves to be that. If Nestor wants to be at the top of the rotation, that's an emphatic no. I disagree with them not dealing him at the trade deadline because, like I said, similar to Rizzo, I think things have run its course. The gimmicks, the leg kicks, it was fun while it lasted, but it's time for the New York Yankees to move on from him, and I think we'll see the end of the Marcus Stroman era in the Yankees sooner rather than later. To close out, what I want to tell you, Vegas says that the New York Yankees still have the best odds in the American League to win the championship, but they don't pass the eye test sometimes. And when you have teams above them, like the Dodgers, I feel that it's fair to express legitimate concern. In the next video, if you are here for my NFL and my NBA content, and if you're new here and you're an Olympic fan of Simone Biles and Suni Lee, know that I'm going to have a video coming up this week discussing all of the relevant and major headlines that we have missed in the last 45 to 60 days that I've been away, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So appreciate you stopping by. Like, subscribe, whatever you can do to get your voice heard and for you to lead the discussions and tell me what you want to hear next. I am all for it. I look forward to it. Talk soon.